look at me. No hat. I got a haircut just for John Keating. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, holy shit. Where's all the hair? Good morning. Happy hump day. It's trash day. Big day. Recycling also at the curb. Yes, my garbage, my recycling out on the street, out on the curb. Happy Wednesday. I've got a giant pile of shit in my in the stairwell. There's kind of a landing when it gets to my basement, my shipping room. And I get just open the door and throw trash bags if I'm too lazy to go upstairs into the garage and throw the trash away. So it's we also fill the, not really the trash, but we fill the recycle bin. It's always overflowing. So I just kind of have a mountain of recyclables in there. So I had a little bit of space. I was able to get the recycle bin, the trash can pretty full. So trash and big day around here, trash and recycling day. I did get a haircut yesterday. It was nice to be out, although I guess I was out Sunday at the Janesville Card Show. Speaking of card shows, Madison Card Show this Saturday. I've already sold out 175 dealer tables. We'll have a third ballroom open. On the first floor, it'll be the State Street Ballroom. When you walk in, it's actually pretty handy. People are like, I don't know if I want to be in the third ballroom. It's probably the best spot for access because it's the only ballroom that has direct access to the parking lot. So if you're familiar with, if you're familiar with the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive, if you drive around back to the back of the parking lot, which is sometimes where you have to park, a lot of times because it's pretty packed. Towards the back, around the back, there's a side entrance, and that's where the State Street Ballroom is, and there's a door right there. So you can start your day in the State Street Ballroom, work your way across the hall to the Williamson Ballroom, and then go upstairs to the second floor, visit the mezzanine and the Capitol Ballroom. So 175 tables this Saturday, free admission, show hours 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So again, the State Street Ballroom, you can access it through around back, or you go from the lobby. If you come in the front doors, normally you would swing right to go back to the Williamson Ballroom, which is in the back right. The back left is where the State Street Ballroom is. So when you walk in, you see the car. They have like an MG car in the lobby. Go past the car, past the elevators, and then there's doors to your left, and then there's the State Street Ballroom. I'll have signage so you know where to find everything. This Saturday, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. So here we go. We're going to talk eBay today. eBay, I read an interesting article from, valueaddedresource.net, which I've read many articles. Liz Morton on Twitter tweets these links out. I see them, I read them, and it's very insightful. So check it out, Value Added Resource, and I'll show the article we're going to touch on today about eBay, and maybe their strategies change, and I'm just going to editorialize. I'm going to debate myself today. I do that often. Again today, I'm going to do a counterpoint on my thoughts on, are we volume sellers the future on eBay? I have my thoughts for yes, and I have my thoughts for no. Sorry, we're not the future. So we'll talk eBay today. Speaking of eBay, visit my store. Over 100,000 active, or over 100,000 singles available. I think I'm down to 53,000 active listings. A lot of, for those that poo-poo the value on Top Series 1, let me tell you a little something. I'm curious on what my sales have been on 2024 Top Series 1. So I went into eBay yesterday and did a quick little report. Basically, there's not an easy way to do reports on this. So what I had to do was I went to, let's see, all orders. So in your seller hub, I went to all orders. Now, fortunately, 2024 Top Series 1's within, all the sales are within the last, week. So it defaults to 90 days. Item title, everything is titled Tops, 2024 Tops. So I do 2024 Tops. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't, like in the, I thought it would show the dollar amount. It doesn't. You do have to download your report into an Excel sheet, and then you can just sum it up. So as of like 2:00 yesterday afternoon, I was at $3,800 in gross sales on 2024 Top Series 1. And I made some more. I did like a 50 card order last night of all Series 1. So it's over 3,800, probably approaching 3,900. $3,900 in gross sales, one jumbo case. That was, I think, $960, $970. So Top Series 1, if you get it at release, you rip and flip, it can be very, very lucrative. So Top Series 1, Bowman's good. I would not recommend ripping and flipping a bunch of Bowman hobby. That'll get expensive and your return's not there. But if you find blasters at release, if you can get blasters, I tripled my money, quadrupled my money on blasters last year on Bowman. And I love Bowman. So that's eBay, 99centcards.com. Check it out, my eBay store. Buy 7 or more cards at regular price, you'll get 25% off at checkout. Did a lot of shipping yesterday. I'm still I'm not behind on shipping, but I'm not I'm buried but not behind. The story of eBay shipping. I think I'm still well over 200 orders to ship. But it's like creeping up. It's like I think tomorrow is the day that like everything has to be shipped by. 211, which is manageable now. It was approaching 400 the other day, and that's like, ooh, now I'm super buried. So continuing to dig out of my shipping. I did do a little sorting yesterday in preparation for another sale Thursday night here on this YouTube channel. We'll do the bulk sale bonanza. We did one 2 weeks ago. We sold a whole bunch of flat rate boxes of stuff that I had in quarter boxes. We spiced it up a little bit. This Thursday night won't have the volume of volume, but there will be, I think, 2 modern baseball boxes. There's going to be a refractors in color only and serial number only box with over 1,000 refractors in color. There's going to be a non-sport box. The packs did come in. They were in my mailbox yesterday, so about, I think, 28 unopened packs, might be over 30. There were 28 in the photo I took, but I think I have a couple more. So about 30 packs, unopened packs of non-sport. Some other stuff. I got some non-sport tobacco cards as extras in a sale recently. I don't do anything with that, so I'm going to throw those in there. There's some other cool stuff in the non-sport box. So initially I'm like, it's kind of going to be crappy. Actually, this is going to be way better than the last non-sport box that we did a couple weeks ago. So we'll do that. We'll bump it up to 7 p.m. Thursday night. We'll see how insane I am. I want to push myself because I am a procrastinator. Brian, who's in the chat, sent me a book on ADD and how to deal with it. And guess what? I haven't opened it yet. That's what we do, is procrastinate. So by forcing myself to do all of this crazy shit in a small amount of time, it pushes myself to not procrastinate. I can't. So I am looking forward to like Sunday and Monday because I'm super stressed about the show this Saturday on top of, shipping and Thursday sale. But we'll get out of it after the weekend, and then it's full speed ahead to spring training. So there we go. And I kind of want to push my numbers up for February because March is going to be probably, depending on what my summer brings. If we do go to Europe, I talked to my wife the other day. I'm like, we haven't planned anything for this summer. Do you just want to do, like, I've never been to Boston, and that's somewhere that I'd like to go. And my wife's like, well, I want to go to Europe. And I'm like, I know, but it's almost March and we haven't even decided where we want to go. I'm like, we could do Boston. It's a lot easier to plan. Like, we could just jump on a plane and just go. I don't, like, you can do that in Europe, but like, you're there, you want to go for a couple weeks to like really experience it. And that takes a lot of planning. So if we do go to Europe this summer, whatever month that falls in, that'll be probably my worst month. Otherwise, it'll be March because I'm gone 8 days. So there. What else? Anything else? That's about all. I watched my alma mater last night. Anawan, the Bravettes in the sectionals. They lost. Bummer. Sloppy game. Really sloppy game. They were down by 10 in the third quarter, came back, took a 1-point lead with a few minutes left in the game, and then both teams just, it was basically they lost, I think, by 5, but it was kind of an ugly finish. And I was surprised the coach, Coach Berkowitz, great coach, young guy. I think he's younger than I am. He has almost 400 career wins already, which is a lot at 40 years old. I think he's right at 40. So and he resigned, like he's retired or whatever. I don't know. Can you retire? I don't think any coach can retire at 40 because it seems like they come back. They always come back. But they got young kids, his family. So I get it from that standpoint. His wife, I've known his wife since college, and she'd posted on Facebook like his accolades, like damn impressive. Over almost 400 wins, 2 state championships, 3 or 4 trips to the state finals. Very impressive resume. So wish him the best in his fatherhood. Now he's full-time father. So that's cool. What else? That's about all I did last night. I'm at the point basketball wise. We will talk eBay. We're over 80 viewers, so I know there's probably a few that aren't familiar with my how we roll on Hobby Evolution here. So we'll get to the topic sooner than later. Actually, today I do want to get it to before 45 minutes. It might be to the 30-minute mark, but I'm at that point in basketball where here's how I am with college basketball. I don't follow the NBA, but with college basketball, I can't wait for the season to start, especially when the Cubs are bad, because it's my bridge. It's a bridge to baseball. So I'm like stoked, and especially around Thanksgiving, I love the Battle for Atlantis, the Maui Invitation. I love those they're not preseason, but early season tournaments. I love them. And then by like mid-December, it's like, oh, okay. And now you get into like the crappy games. Like there's not many, because in the first month of the season, it's front loaded. The college basketball schedule is front loaded with awesome games. And then you go 2 months with just a bunch of like, oh, it's Alabama A&M versus the number 1 team in the country. This is crap. Although if you're a Big Ten fan, there's usually some good games. Although I think the league's down a little bit this year. And my Badgers have sucked. I think they're 2-5 in their last 7. So I've kind of like stopped watching the games. So I'm at the point where I've kind of stopped watching the games, and we're getting close to conference tournament time. So probably next week. Yeah, I think probably actually maybe even this weekend or early next week is when conference tournaments start. And that's when I'll for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I'm like glued to the TV watching college basketball. So this is like the lull. This is the calm before the college basketball storm for me. Let's get to the chat. Harlan's in the house. Good morning. Victor is here. What's happening? Good morning. Harlan says, very futuristic thumbnail font. It just kind of worked like that. I don't plan often. I'm sure you're all surprised by that. No, I just jumped out of the shower and said, this is what I'm going to talk about today. Actually, when I read the article yesterday, I'm like, this would make a good topic because I have thoughts on it. And then I just went through Canva and I'm like, hey, I like this thumbnail. Boom. So no, I didn't. I can't take credit for the planning of that. Steel Cars, what's up? Good morning. Philly Joe is in the house. Interesting topic today based on the thumbnail. Let's go. We're talking eBay. Good morning, Shane. What's going on? Shane, and Shane's got like a very eBay-esque logo. Easy peasy cards in the red, blue, green, yellow, similar font to like the old eBay where it was just like EBAY in those colors randomly on a page. Which I like that logo way better than the new logo. They haven't changed the logo much, which is good. I mean, I don't think you should as a company change up your branding. Why do companies do that? Like, why do companies like, we got to change our logo? When I worked in college athletics at WIU, it was like almost every year, like, we've got to do something different. It's like, it's a directional state university. No, you don't. Just keep like WIU. There's not too many WIUs. There's not a Western Idaho University. There might be. Doubt it. There's not a Western Iowa. What's the other? There's like Forced Indiana, Western Indiana. No, that's Indiana State and Terre Haute. Mikey's alma mater. The Sycamores, home of Larry Bird. Donald Davis in the house. Tiger 727. Good morning. Kyle is here. Royals 417. Good morning. Dan, what's happening? Top of the morning, baseball fans. Closer and closer. Getting closer and closer. Boston Smokes in the house. T206 kid. First thing I hear when I tune in, I have a huge pile of shit. Yeah, that could be many things. There's no way in holy heck that Bo hasn't reached 1 million Cubs. Smells funny, real funny. I am sitting on a couple boxes that I haven't counted yet. By the way, I have some, there should be some news regarding the 1 million Cubs project in the very near future. So I had an exciting call last week regarding the 1 million Cubs project. So we're getting closer and closer, closing in on 995,000. I've got a couple boxes that were in my mailbox here in the last week. I'll be counting those up. Janesville card show, I picked up some Cubs, so I got to get those counted. So we're getting close. Peter's in the house. Good morning. Christian is here. Good morning. Max, what's up? He says, no, start upstairs. It used to be, it's kind of the dealers. It used to be the dealers. No, I don't want to be downstairs. I want to be upstairs in the main ballroom. Now it's reversed. Now I get dealers saying everybody spends all their money downstairs first, and then they come upstairs and they don't have enough money. It is what it is. Start marketing. Start marketing that you're going to be at the show. Make sure you have good stuff at good prices. Tell the people, and they'll come to you first. Brian, what's up? Max won't have any problem. Max has like a packed table the entire show, so Max doesn't have to worry. Brian, what's up? Good morning. Zach and Porter says, don't miss the fancy bathrooms by the elevators. A memorable experience. The fancy bathrooms by the elevators. Are those upstairs or downstairs? Which fancy bathrooms? Good morning, Brian. Cheers to dollar packs and those chasing the hits. Nice haircut. Thank you. Thank you. A very routine haircut yesterday. Nothing memorable. Sometimes there's always something. Although when I got there, the guy in the chair, like, did not even stop talking to take a breath. I'm like, I feel bad for the lady cutting his hair because he just blah, 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 blah. Like, man, has he taken a breath yet? That's it. That was the only thing memorable from yesterday's haircut, which is good. You don't want to have a memorable haircut. Like, oh, they chopped half my ear off. You don't want that to happen. Brian says almost every industry eventually seems to go towards the volume businesses as it ends up being the most efficient way to do business and pass that on to the buyers. That's very insightful, Brian. I love that comment. Love that comment. John says, what's a volume seller? Well, it's very subjective. The term volume seller is a very subjective term. I would say if you're selling less than 100 cards per week or items per week, I would say, I would say that's probably not a volume seller. Maybe over that. I don't know. It's going to be an arbitrary number, no matter what that number somebody says. Whatever number I say is arbitrary to the next person. It's a very subjective term. I think many of us, myself included, and many of the people in the chat are volume sellers. Scott says, I'm getting ready to put some player lots together and put them in my eBay store. Scotty J Sports Cards, but it takes me a while because I am a full-time door dasher. There you go. There you go. Well, hopefully it all works out. David, good morning. Charlie's in the house. Don't forget, he's on live tonight with Adam, on the Dollar Box channel, listing, shipping, and coffee. Oh my. Brian says, does anyone ever source on high bid auctions? I have, but it wasn't specifically, high bid was the vehicle. The auction house was a local auction company that I'm familiar with. And I could do local pickup. My buddy was able to pick it up, and I've been through that multiple times. But I haven't gone like nationwide searches on high bid auctions. Every once in a while, when I need inventory, I'll go and I'll look. Sometimes you can find some damn good deals. In the times that I've bought, I bought several thousand 70s cards, and this is going back several years, and I was getting them for less than a nickel a card, and they were in, mostly in good condition. They were mostly in excellent condition. People say, well, good. That's not good condition. That good is not good. When it comes to baseball cards, good is not good. What else have I bought? I ended up buying, there was a lot of old Beckett's and mostly baseball card magazine. And I think I paid $2, and there were 15 of them. And the auction company was like, hey, we found a whole bunch more. Do you want them for the same price, for no additional charge? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. So I ended up getting 50 old Beckett's and baseball card magazines for $2 total, including the both rookie cards of Ken Griffey Jr. in those baseball card magazines. So yes, I have bought some stuff from high bid auctions. I don't think I've bought anywhere other than that auction house, which is semi-local, I guess. That is the curse of ADHD. You have to be panicked to be most effective. That's shit, man. Brian just diagnosed me. I've said this since my radio days, where I was most effective when I had 17 balls in the air. It's like if I had one task, it was almost paralyzing. Sometimes it's paralyzing when I have multiple tasks. What do I do? But usually I can get through it, and I just force myself through. Damn it. John says, I spent much of my life thinking I was a procrastinator. It turns out my workflow is differently, as I found it useful to think through things thoroughly before beginning work. It actually saves time and is more efficient. That's very insightful. I think I'm just a procrastinator. Unfortunately, I think I'm just a procrastinator. I know that because I don't think things through thoroughly. I'm just kind of do it. Let's just do it. Madison Card Show this week. That's how it started. And then all of a sudden, just doing it caused some minor problems. So now I do think things through a little more thoroughly. Good morning, TD Sports Cards in the house. Neil's here. What's up? Good morning from Boston. If never been there, def got to go do the Freedom Trail. Yeah, I've never been to the Northeast. I've never been to New York. I'd love to do Maine and Vermont and New Hampshire and all those small little states. And there's too many Americans in Europe. Avoid. There are a lot of Americans. There's a lot of British in, they are in Europe, but in Italy, I couldn't believe how many Brits, which it's actually a pretty quick trip from Britain to Italy. A lot of Brits in Italy. Brittany. Zach and Porter says your wife's response when you question her scheduling, just worry about trash day, card boy. That's kind of pretty close to her response. That you pretty much nailed it. John says don't ever drive in Boston. Bo looks like he's going to the prison prom with the cherry Kool-Aid rubbed on his cheeks. Yeah. Zach and Porter says, I've talked to John in the phone while driving in Boston. It scared him. Speaking of retiring, other than Anthony Rendon, is there a bigger dick in sports than Rick Pitino right now? I don't know. I can't defend Rick Pitino this morning. I don't know what that's in reference to. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. Robert says, do you sell your cards internationally on eBay? If so, is it worth it? Is it an added headache? I use the global shipping program. It takes the headache away from me because you ship it to, there's two of them. It used to be Erlanger, Kentucky. I don't think they go to Erlanger anymore. I think it's Glendale Heights, Illinois. So I use global shipping. It's a pain for buyers overseas, but it's easy for me. Number one lost last night. Who is? I don't even know. I haven't been paying attention to college basketball. I'm not familiar with who number one is this week. My high from the Pro Bowl flag football game hasn't worn off. Not ready for March Madness until it does. Brian says tournament is later this year, so major conference tournaments are a ways off still. So let's see. Where are we at on the calendar? Because I think the tournament I think I'm in Arizona for the first round games. Is the first round games, are they the 14th, 15th, or are they the 21st, 22nd? Let's see. If they're the 14th, 15th, the first conference tournaments will be starting next week. Summit League's always one of the Summit League tournament. Let's just look to see when that is. I got to get prepared for my college basketball. Basketball championships. Holy crap, it is really late. So the first round games are, because the Summit League tournament doesn't start until March 8th. So that means it's the 21st and 22nd for the first round games. Holy moly, that is late. The Nats are not going to be sold. Wah, wah. Max says sports teams is all merch sales. SoCal guys in the house. Good morning. Big boy, what's up? He says go Braves. Is that a picture? What river is that? Well, he says Braves. So I'm guessing that's somewhere down south. It kind of looks like the Quad Cities, but actually as I'm looking into it, it looks like the Mississippi River. Is that Memphis? I'm curious, what is in your profile picture? What city is that? I'm going to guess Memphis. Jamie's in the house. Has anyone seen the Rhode Island Nads team logo? If not, pull it up. No pun intended. Rhode Island Nads? Well, now we've got to look that up. Rhode Island Nads. Is it the RSD Balls? The Nads. Sheena's in the house. What's up? Good morning. Dan is here. Good morning. College hockey team. Dan says, next weekend I get 2 different card shows, Saturday and Sunday in Syracuse. Nice. Max says, I'd assume logo change for more mature companies is to modernize. Newer is more brand recognition competition. Yeah, I guess modernization is probably, but I hate that. Just keep it simple. I remember being a kid in the barber smoking a cig while cutting my hair. I remember being a kid in the barber. Were you the kid smoking a cigarette, or was your barber smoking the cigarette? Were you smoking the cigarette while your barber was cutting your hair, or was the barber smoking a cigarette while cutting your hair? New poll up in the Facebook group. Flipping Sports Guy says, I source on High Bid all the time. I've got a local auction house that uses it, and I can go pick it up instead of using shipping. Kyle says, from eBay's perspective, volume seller probably has more to do with sales numbers than number of transactions. There you go. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk eBay volume sellers. John's question, what is a volume seller? Kyle brings it into more perspective. Dollars or transactions. Shane says Van Gogh cut his ear off because became quite famous. Who knows? Maybe more sales on eBay if you were missing part of your ear. There you go. Patino was complaining about NIL last week. He preferred his players getting paid under the table. This week he's complained about his team not being defenders. You know, shit you can work on in practice. Rick Patino. Brian Wolf, good morning. Made a sale yesterday for $100 to someone who opened account yesterday. Fingers crossed. I will go to the post office and video the card being packaged and put it into the drop box. I have a couple thoughts on that. First of all, we all made a purchase on our first. We all had a first transaction, so I'm not too. When it's a bigger sale for me, yeah, I get a little nervous. But you know, I don't think I've ever had a big transaction, knock on wood, with a low, you know, the biggest issues I have are with, usually the issues I have with low, like under 100 accounts, feedback accounts, are they don't communicate and just leave negative feedback for slow mail or something. I don't think I've ever had an issue with a low feedback scammer. Here's another thing. Going to the post office and videoing the card being packaged and put into the drop box is not going to help. Because I mean, you'd have to video the entire process, which is a bitch. Also, my post office doesn't let me take video inside, or anybody. I've never tried, but like people will say, "Can I take a picture?" And they're like, "No, you can't take pictures in here." It's like, what do you got going on? What's going on back there, post office? How come I can't take pictures in here? Some weird shit going on back there. And I don't know if I mean, it's really hard. Like people take pictures of a stamp, the envelope. It's not going to help. Not going to help. So, I mean, you can, if you want to do it, it's okay. I don't know if it's going to be much help. And if something happens. John says, why would you video the drop off? You turn the package to the postal worker and get the receipt. Orlando, good morning. Sports teams are all beer sales. I'm just glad the Madison show isn't the same weekend as state basketball this year. It's the same weekend as state wrestling. So there's typically a lot of wrestlers. I know usually a couple teams will stay in the hotel. Oh, it's also Max's favorite weekend. It's dog show weekend. So there will be a lot of puppy dogs in the Sheraton Hotel. Sheraton Hotel is dog friendly, which I am a big fan of. I love dogs. So there will be a lot of dogs in the hotel. So if you are like allergic to dogs, I don't know if that's a thing. I know you can be allergic to cats. If you're allergic to dogs, there's going to be a lot of dogs in the Sheraton Hotel this week because the dog show is across the street. And many of them stay at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. John says, might be Savannah. Savannah? Is it Savannah? John says RISD doesn't quite know what to call themselves. Wiki says the unofficial team name is Scroties, testicle fetish up there at the Commie Liberal Arts School. Jamie says started as a joke, but ended with a wiener on skates, a mascot. Barber smoking. So the barber was smoking as little Dan was getting his haircut. That was probably pretty common back in the 80s and 90s. I'm sure my barber was smoking as he cut my hair. I just didn't notice it. Everybody smoked. Let's see. I've got, pictures of my childhood birthday parties. My dad's got a can of Old Milwaukee Light and freaking ashtray full of smokes. Just, killing all the kids with secondhand smoke. Flipping Sports Guy, a lot of times eBay doesn't care about the video. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. They're just like, yeah, tough shit. Johnny M says, I bit my tongue. Good morning. I've been screwed over by more people with high feedback ratings and low feedback. Yeah, same here. John says, you're allowed to photograph in the post office, by the way, 100% legal. The post office I go, Middleton, Wisconsin, they are freaking insane there. And that's why I don't drop my plain white envelopes at the post office, because I don't like them. I don't like the way they do their post officing. And they somebody's like, I want to take a picture of the tracking, and they will not allow, I don't know. It's not like they're going to reach over and slap the phone out of your hand. But if you go, oh, I'm going to take a photo of this tracking so I can give it to my customer, they're like, nope, you can't take photos in the post office. Jamie says, use self-service module if you want a photo. Dan says, yes, people can be allergic to dogs. Okay. If you promote this dog show too much, people are going to end up over there instead of watching all the cuteness. Any advice on the Facebook post yesterday? I refunded a slew of buyers for ESE that didn't show up in the system for 20 plus days. Now they're showing up and I have to file for reimbursement. Better way. Probably not. I think you're going to just have to, you're just going to have to go through the insurance program, the ESE insurance program. There's not an easier way to do it. That's about all I can say. Jamie says, always drop standard plain envelopes. Sounds like they need a civil rights audit. John says, you are allowed. There are a ton of videos with postal workers being filmed. I don't care if it's legal or not. I'm just telling you what they tell customers. That's just what the Middleton post office employees say. So if you have a problem, take it up with the Middleton post office. I don't take pictures, and I don't care to. And I don't want to go viral for having the police called for taking pictures at the post office. It's just, I don't have the time for that. Let somebody else do it. Come to Middleton. If you want to get the what's the thing called? I can't remember, but get them involved. Come to Middleton, go to the post office. It's right downtown. Nice little bars right nearby. You can go have a drink. Let's see. Shane says, I just asked them to be patient and wait for another week, as ESE can take up to a month to reach the mailbox. If not, I think that's the only route. Jamie says, in the large blue boxes, that's what I do. I dump all of my plain white envelopes in the blue boxes. Max says, boo, I got skipped because I don't like dogs. Where did you get skipped? I got skipped because I don't like dogs. I don't know what that means. John says, I usually ask them to be patient. When it doesn't show up in the system after 3+ weeks, I refunded. Tracking just said label generated, not scanned into the system. The auditors that film are just as big of assholes as the postal workers who don't know the rules. It's pretty cringy. Philly Joe says, what is ESE? ESE is, I don't even know what it stands for, but it's the plain white envelope with tracking on eBay. I think it stands for eBay standard envelope. Unicorn Cupcake, I'll take some photos there and tell them both sent me to take pictures. There you go. Middleton, Wisconsin post office. Go take pictures in the lobby or wherever. Front desk. Big Boy says, go Braves. eBay standard envelope. There you go. There you go. Buyers get itchy when there is zero tracking information. I don't blame them after 3 weeks. I had one yesterday. I bought in my Cubs chat, we were talking about, I don't know, somebody showed off like the dirt relic that Topps opening day did. Hey, we're at 100 live viewers. We're going to talk eBay here in a second. Our volume sellers, the future of eBay. I had so I found a Sammy Sosa dirt relic, and I got it for like $12. I paid for it on February 6th, and I realized the other day, I'm like, I still haven't gotten this. I didn't say anything. And yesterday I get a message from the seller and says, hey, sorry for the delay sending this out today. I'm like, Jesus, it's the 20th.
I paid for this 2 weeks ago. Like, it's to the point where it's like, man, I might give him a neutral feedback, but I probably won't. I often don't give feedback on stuff I buy because I don't have it automated. So I should just set it up like when it's marked delivered, leave positive feedback so I don't have to go in and do it myself. So hopefully it's on its way. John is going to show up to the Middleton post office with a Cubs cardometer around his neck, and he'll be filming. Sold an item for $300, shipped it 3 weeks ago from North Carolina to Georgia. Customer told me he finally received it yesterday. 3 weeks? Not bad. There you go. So I was reading an article on eBay yesterday. Liz Morton, good follow on Twitter. Value Added RS is the @ valueaddedresource.net. So this, let me just present. Hit the like button if you're in here. Thank you. We're at 106. I think that might be a record for morning live viewers on Hobby Evolution. eBay job listings hint at strategic pivot and fresh consumer seller focus. So just also, by the way, eBay did lay off 1,000 employees, which is like 9% of their workforce, according to National Public Radio. I think they're pretty legit. NPR says it's 9% of the workforce that were laid off earlier this year. In this article, Jamie Iannone is the CEO of eBay. He took over in 2020. ValueAddedResource.net says, when CEO Jamie Iannone took the helm in 2020, his initial tech-led reimagination strategy specifically called out the need to capitalize on eBay's robust consumer-to-consumer platform, seeing consumer-to-consumer selling as the foundation of the company's success. We are all consumers. We are all C2C. Now, yes, some of us are doing this full-time and we're businesses, but essentially we're very small businesses. So put that in the consumer pile. In July 2020, Iannone on an interview with CNBC saying getting back to individual consumer selling and becoming the seller platform of choice were among his top priorities for the company, along with focusing on key core vertical categories for growth. I don't think it really went that way. ValueAddedResource.net follows those quotes and says, unfortunately, consumer selling and being the seller platform of choice quickly faded to the background as Iannone has pursued a very narrow-focused vertical, high-value enthusiast buyer strategy, leaving many of the non-new in-season, one-of-a-kind vintage, antiques, and other collectibles, consumer-to-consumer sellers that were the foundational roots of eBay's success feeling excluded and abandoned. I feel abandoned. I feel excluded and abandoned. eBay has been on their quarter after quarter results have been very poor recently. Take a look at this chart. eBay active buyers from 2018 to 2023. We saw growth between 2018 and it peaked in 2021, first quarter. And look at since quarter one, 2021, it has declined. This is overall eBay. This isn't just in card categories. This is overall on eBay. And they've been on looks like maybe we're in a plateau period since quarter two of 2022. It's kind of, or really quarter three, we've kind of plateaued here over the last 4 to 5 quarters. So, what does this mean? Are they going to boost consumer to consumer? Are they going to look to attract more of us as opposed to luxury brands and large companies to put on their platform? I have my thoughts. When I say volume sellers, that can mean many things, and it's also subjective. I am a volume seller by transactions. I am a very, very small fish in a very, very big ocean of eBay when it comes to sales dollars, right? So eBay doesn't care about us. if we're volume sellers, yes, we're bringing in many transaction fees, as I learned about. We're bringing in a lot of transaction fees. We're bringing in a small amount of final value fees. But 30 cents, even though it does add up over the thousands of transactions, is a pittance when it comes to some of the the big sellers that consigners. They're selling some big cards, thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in cards on single cards, where mine are 99 cents at $1. They're getting my 30 cents. So that's, part of me says, do they want to go back to what they grew to by using sellers like us? Maybe. But on the other side of the spectrum, it costs money to host all of these listings. And, listings don't make eBay money. We can brag about, I've got 50,000 listings on eBay. I wish I had 1 million. No, I don't. No, I don't. But are those listings moving? And, that's kind of what it comes down to. They want sales. They don't care how many listings you can put up. They want to see you make sales. So will eBay, are volume sellers the future to eBay? Maybe. Probably not is essentially what I believe. Probably not. Just based on the revenue that we bring in, it's pales in comparison to some of the higher end. Let's go to the chat. Where are we at? Let's see. Jamie says eBay is designed to protect buyers, so no matter the lengths you may go to prove shipping, in the end, it won't matter. I agree. John says, Neil, yours was scanned into the system, though my envelopes never did. That could mean the seller, me, never sent them. Tells me that they were poached. Turns out after speaking to my postmaster, they show up in the system the next 2 days. As long as there's a scan, you can file for the insurance claim if you had to issue the refund. Steve says, if you use ESE and the card isn't delivered lost, you can file a claim with eBay's insurance carrier and receive a refund if you have to refund the sale. Absolutely. And it is a pain in the ass. What does 9% of eBay workforce do? Sit in the trade show booth at the National? Probably wise laying those folks off. There were some higher ups that were laid off. Steve says, I've done it times and refund is processed in 24 hours. Yep, it's usually a pretty fast process. It is time consuming. So if it's a $1.50 sale, I tend to not do it because it takes a few minutes, and it's like, to get my $1.40 back, it's like, I'll pass. The time is more valuable than the $1.40. Jamie says that CEO had intelligent parents when it came to his name. Jamie. AA Cards, what's going on? John says, I know that, Steve. My point is that after I refunded the items have shown up in the postal system after 3 weeks. They are now in various states of delivery. If you already refunded, file the claim. And you have all the information from the messages from your buyers saying, hey, I didn't get this. Here's the refund. File the insurance claim. That's the only thing you can do. There's no easier way to do it. The easiest way is just have your buyer give you the money back. Like, hey, PayPal me. I wouldn't do that. I would just file the claim. Bargain Boxer says, take the wife to the National. That'll be so much better than Europe. That ain't happening. Steve says, hey, honey, you want to go to Cleveland? I hear you, 70s. Totally understand what you're saying. Just sharing some info to help sellers recoup some money for losses out of our control. Jamie says, majority of sellers can move a $1 card. Hard to sell a $1,000 card. A reminder that eBay makes more money selling books than ball cards. That's often forgotten by our hobby. They make more money. I'm curious what categories, like, because the automotive category, I'm sure, blows books and cards out of the water. So Max says, So I am curious. Now I'm curious. I want to look at what categories bring in eBay the most revenue. Like what categories bring in the most money? Max says, I got to imagine sports cards and memorabilia category is top 5. It probably is. I'm sure it's top 5. Easy. It's got to be top 5, if not top 3. I'm sure eBay Motors is number 1. Books is high up there. Books are pretty cheap though. I wonder what the average book price compared to the average card price is though. Where is Low Roller Scratcher? Bitcoin must not be up today. He only shows up when Bitcoin goes up. Let's see. Is there an easy way to... What are eBay category most profitable? There we go. Let's see. First website, Web Interpret, some blog. So we'll take this with a grain of salt. Let's see. I just want to see. These are just, this is just a bullshit article. Let's see. All of these are bullshit articles. All right, moving on. Kyle says, I see eBay Motors has lots of advertising. Selling car parts is probably more profitable. Hence, eBay spends money on marketing that portion of the business. I would think collectibles is number 2 to Motors. Yeah, I think eBay Motors is probably by far number 1 for categories. John says, I can now file a claim. Up until last Saturday, I didn't have that option. Cleveland rocks. Books are the biggest seller on eBay. Max says, I think books is a far number 1. I'm curious. I want somebody find an article. I'm curious on dollar revenue by category. Zach says all those eBay jobs were eliminated due to the microtransaction fees were sniffed by man in Dane County. Shane says phones and accessories is number 1. We can't come on a agreement on what's the most category. Shane says video games, health and beauty, at least on site I found. Will commons sell or box them for bulk? Box them for bulk. Will commons sell? Some of them will, but I do not recommend selling commons on eBay. Although I did sell 7 Heath Schuler cards yesterday for, that was a nice like $7 or $8 profit. Heath Schuler, who would have thought? Shane says those were top 3. So are volume sellers the future on eBay? I think it's hard telling what this all means. I found this article interesting. It was again valueaddedresource.net. A lot of really good eBay information. A lot of really good eBay information on that website. So that's what I had for today. eBay. Check out my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Helping eBay 30-cent transaction fees at a time. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Thursday night, by the way, Thursday night, we're going to do YouTube live sale, the bulk bonanza. We did so a couple weeks ago. We had large viewership. I think we had like 160, 170 live at one time. So Thursday night, we're going to start at 7 p.m. Central. And I'm going to be auctioning off bargain boxes. So just like we did last time, although had a couple requests. So I'm fulfilling those requests. Backed by popular demand is non-sports, which I'll include about 30 unopened packs. There's Star Wars. There's what else? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dick Tracy, Battlestar Galactica. A lot of cool stuff in the non-sports box. There's going to be a couple modern baseball where it's going to be only baseball from the last couple of years. There's going to be a refractors and color box where it's nothing but refractors and color variations. I've got to put together a football box. Maybe we'll do a basketball box. So it just depends on how much I can get boxed up here. And there's going to be some like random shit. Some random stuff in a medium flat rate box that I found. Those will probably just be buy it now. So that's what we'll do Thursday night right here on this YouTube channel. We'll start it at 7 p.m. Central. Won't have as many. I don't think we'll have as many boxes as we did a couple weeks ago. Because I think I did 15 or 16 boxes plus I'll have more autographs. So some good stuff. So good stuff Thursday night here on YouTube, live at 7 p.m. Central. Like, subscribe. Don't forget the Madison Card Show is this Saturday at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. We're sold out at 175 dealer tables, 2 floors, 3 ballrooms. State Street Ballroom added this month, back corner, back left corner of the Sheraton Hotel, direct access from the parking lot around back. We also have the Williamson Ballroom on the main floor, the back right, and then upstairs the mezzanine and the Capitol Ballroom. 175 tables. Free admission, show hours 9 to 3 this Saturday. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.